Black Clover seems to have a pantheon of various mythologies combined into one story. In the beginning of the story, it wasn't very apparent, but now as we get closer to the climax in the story, the ties between the story itself and mythology are becoming more intertwined. So I'm making this second video in a series of parallels for all the theorizers out there to speculate upcoming events in the story and some characters that are going to be foreshadowed. First up, we have Norse mythology, and I'm starting off with this because it's the most familiar since that was the topic of my last video. Let's start off with William Vondich's World Tree magic, which is based off of the Tree of Yggdrasil, the tree that connects the 9 realms. Light elves, dark elves, dwarves, and witches who control fate are just some of the Norse races who appear within the story of Black Clover. One of the most apparent Norse parallels within the story is the half-dwarf Charmy's second magic type, but turns her sheep familiar into some type of wolf monster. This wolf has the ability of food magic, and I guess it just kind of eats people. That's what it does. We saw it eat that lady's hair, and it also eats magic. In Norse mythology, the wolf Fenrir, son of Loki, during Ragnarok, swallows the sun and then devours Odin. So he's definitely a key player within that myth, and I think I mentioned something about him during the Norse mythology video. Honestly, that was so long ago, and I've been so lazy. So if you're still subscribed from that last video, thank you for not abandoning me. Yuno's spirit drive transformation has shown 2 forms so far, Boreas and Zephyr. These are both correlating with 2 of the 4 gods of wind in Greek mythology. The other 2 are named Eurus and Notus, and we could assume that he's going to unlock these transformations later on in the story, probably even in this current fight, because there's still plenty of Qliphoth devils to be released. The Dryads are nature spirits who live in trees and take the form of young women. The Dryad in Black Clover seems to be somewhat of a divine figure to the elves, and tell the Apostles of Sephirah the future with the ability of divine revelation. Julius Novachrono gets his name from Cronus, the Titan of Time, and the father of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. To start off with the Qliphoth and the Sephiroth, these are both things that I'm going to oversimplify for the sake of time, but these are also things that I will be elaborating on in further videos. The Apostles of Sephirah are a group of high-ranking elves led by Licht, who together can form the Tree of Life and open a magic spell called the Shadow Palace, which allows you to materialize objects from other realms into the human realm. Zigred uses this to manifest his physical body into the human world from the underworld. The Sephirah are the 10 attributes of Kabbalah through which God manifests himself and links the physical world with the spiritual world. I'm going to explain why this is very similar to the advent of Qliphoth in Black Clover. In Judaism, the Qliphoth is the opposite of the Sephirah and represents impure and evil forces. And in Black Clover, the advent of Qliphoth is a magic channel that connects the physical world to the underworld. The advent of Qliphoth and the Shadow Palace, interestingly, both kind of do the same thing. Both of these spells secretly had somebody pulling the strings behind them. Zigred was pulling the strings behind the Shadow Palace, and Morris seems to be pulling the strings behind this advent of Qliphoth. And both spells link the human world to the underworld and allow the physical bodies of devils to pass through. Zigred in the Shadow Palace and Lilith and Nama in the most recent chapters. Lilith and Nama are both demons who also appear throughout this mythology. Lilith was Adam's first wife and was created from the same soil that he was. She did not want to be a subservient wife and fled the Garden of Eden, mothering demonic children with the Archangel Samael. Angels in general have been theorized to represent elves, or that's what the parallel is. Instead of angels, it's elves. The mainstream religion within the Clover Kingdom seems to be a pseudo-Christian cross-based religion with nuns, priests, and everything. Black Clover's underworld is definitely supposed to be hell, with Lucifero taking the place of Lucifer, the fallen angel, and one of the 3 wardens of hell. The second warden being Astaroth, who Asta's name inspiration comes from, and Roth could be the true name of Lieb, whose name we only got from Sita and is not actually his true birth name. Sylph, Undine, and the Salamander are individual characters in the form of elemental spirits, but in the Parcules, I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. In the Paracelsus folklore, each of these are their own elemental race, but the races are actually accompanied by a fourth, the fourth being gnomes, a long speculated and theorized anticipated reveal in Black Clover. Gnomes are different than dwarves in most mythology, but I wouldn't be surprised if Black Clover makes them the same thing. That being said, we have only seen one dwarf, Charmy, who has a second magic type and a familiar that lives in her grimoire. Sylph is also able to store herself within Yuno's grimoire for an extended period of time. Is Charmy's wolf a spirit? It's definitely something that we could discuss in a later video, but I don't really think that is. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm sorry if I was a little more stuttery, or I'm trying to read from a script, but it's really hard because I try to go on these monologues, but then I'm like, fuck, I stopped following the script, and then before I know it, I'm fucking theorizing and spoiling my upcoming videos. But that being said, thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video of parallels. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to stick around, subscribe, like, do all that jazz. Be sure to turn on post notifications. I'm going to be posting normally, I promise. There was a little bit of a break. I didn't really like this newest chapter of Attack on Titan. Personally, I thought that it was underwhelming, and I'm going to wait till the final chapter comes out to make another Attack on Titan video. I thought that chapter 138 was honestly pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really care for the double colossal titan fight. That's just my honest take. It's a hot take. But that's why I didn't post another Attack on Titan video. I need to stop dragging out this video. Have a good one. Bless your face. Love you. Goodbye.